Hey guys, welcome to Kipoerneke Corner. I am over in Everquest Legends and making my way toward Fallen. Level 8, I think? Yeah, I'm at level 8 at the moment, so we'll see what we can do over there. One thing is that being an ogre, I'm pretty tall, and certainly Befallen doesn't like that a lot, but we'll see what happens. I think that I get the shrink spell at like level 15 or something like that. So I'm quite a ways from getting it, but also I won't need to go very far into Befallen because I'm probably not going to be able to kill too much in there yet anyway. So it may not come into play right away. We shall see. Right now I'm kind of headed for the East Commons right now, I think. What's interesting, it says to East Commons on the map, but I think it's actually to East Common Lands. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. At any rate, moving right along in that direction. Shouldn't take too long to get there, I don't think. Hopefully everything is coming through well in the stream. Let me know if anything is off. It's been a few days since I have been in because I've had a very busy July 4th weekend, and so if I have something set up incorrectly, do let me know, because I had to remove all of the things from my normal area that I have it, and then basically unplug everything, move it all to a different room, and then get it all set up back afterward, because we needed the large table space for a July 4th event that we were hosting over here. So hence why you haven't seen me in a few days. Trying to find my way to this little tunnel here. I think it might be on the other side of this rock. Hopefully. Let's see if we can do anything about this shriveled mummy. Looks like he's a warrior, so we can just slam him on the regular, I think. No sense in waiting on that. Because so far as I know, the warrior doesn't really cast anything spell-like. Well, I'm trying to see which stance I'm currently in. Looks like I am in evasive and recovery, I think. But I'm gonna go ahead and click them. Maybe I'm not. What's interesting is that I clicked that and it says you assume a balanced stance. Huh. Okay. All right. Now it says I assume an evasive stance. Interesting. Got two of the shriveled mummies now. Trying to go after this mummy with some intimidation, just to try to get me intimidate up a little bit. Maybe I should let's see, can I set that to go off automatically? I cannot, because that would be kind of interesting just to get it up. I don't necessarily want to be intimidating things all the time, but at the same time, doing that for now, just to get the skill up, may not be the worst idea. The macros have been very useful overall. I have somehow gotten out of melee with the guy. I don't know exactly what I did wrong. I must have accidentally clicked the melee button, or for some reason it's just not happening. I'm not sure. Like, for instance, right now my melee attack seems to be off again. I'm not sure why. Did my settings somehow get changed? Possibly. We have a cloth shirt here. Let's auto merge. Move that. And then maybe I need to check my settings here to make sure that we have it attacking when we're still in combat with something else. Attack on hostile cast, yes. That's still on. Alright, everything looks fine. Persistent auto attack is there. I don't know any reason it wouldn't be continuing to attack the things whenever I'm in a fight. Unless I have somehow clicked something that I didn't intend to click, that's always possible. I'm not sure. At any rate, we are moving right along. I do see that I've run out of endurance, so I may as well switch over to the balanced stance. The evasive stance does you no good when you don't have endurance. Slowly but surely, we're getting through this shriveled mummy. It's a tough thing overall. Okay, made it through. And now did I pass the entrance? Quite possibly I did. Let's go back. There it is, right there. That makes sense. All right, now while I'm here, this is where I want to set my soul bind, I think, for the moment, because this is a nice point between Ogre and Big Fallen, which is my goal. So let's go ahead to this little area over here. May as well put on our boots of the long road, I think is what they're called. Yes, boots of the long road. May as well be running. We have another player running around over here named Jubal. Very nice. Let's hail him. Well, I tried to hail him, but instead I zoned. There's Lothal on the other side there. Well, here's Blister. Well, that was interesting. Blister disappeared there for a second. We'll hail Blister as we go by. And then here's the soul binder guy right here. Let's go up to him, and I think right-click him, maybe. Maybe that's the wrong button. Who knows? Maybe just H? Yes, that's the one. He says, "Greetings, Kipoerneke. When a hero of our world is slain, their soul returns to the place it was last found, and the body is reincarnated. As a member of the Order of Eternity, it is my duty to bind your soul to this location, if that is your wish." Let's click Bind Your Soul. And I think that will have done the trick as soon as it goes through. Theoretically, our soul is now bound. I see no confirmation of that or anything of that nature. Looking through the combat logs, don't see it there. Chat, not so much. All right. Good to know. We can hopefully have our soul bound there if all went well. So onward toward West Commonlands, and then I think from there to the Fallen. I believe that's correct. Let's make sure I turned the right way. Looking good so far. Now, one of these zones has a griffin, apparently, that flies along and is very, very deadly. I have yet to see the griffin. Apparently, you normally don't see it until it's too late. It's like an owl for the poor or prey out there in the world, going along minding its own business when suddenly they're swooped down upon and know no more. Why don't we kill some pumas and whatnot along the way? Puma is a warrior, level 6. That's a good bit of yowling, doesn't it? And again, I should definitely try to intimidate these things. Let's try intimidating the giant rattlesnake. Is it afraid? No, probably not. So I could neither beg for it successfully, nor could I scare it. Shocking, I know. I also notice that I don't think I have any anything to bind wounds with, because I completely forgot about that, and perhaps I'm running low somewhat on liquid. Not terribly low. We have a little bit still, but a little low. Feels like. So I'm wondering about possibly making a macro here with Intimidate on Slam. May as well. And if I scare it and it goes and gets other things, I think I'm kind of okay with that for now. Oh, rightio. So maybe we do /do ability slam. Possibly. And then /do ability intimidation. Might work. We'll see. We'll just call it slam. Well, we can do slam intimidate. Maybe I'll know what that means. Who knows? Let's go check out this giant rattlesnake over here. We'll give it a go. So when I do that, it does do the intimidate. It does not do the slam as far as I can tell. And that's no good. So how can I do it? Okay, slam is a skill, so I guess I shouldn't sit down mid-combat. Let's see. What should I do? To be able to use slam. Maybe it's not called that. We've got a sign icon. Wonder what that does. Oh my goodness, it's a picture. Who would have thought? All right, so we can have a picture that goes along with it if we want to. There are many options. I'm okay with not jumping into that right now. Have I chased away the rattlesnake? That's the other question. Apparently, giant rattlesnake is somewhere up. Who knows where? That's a shame. Is this it? No, surely not. What a shame. Oh well. Let's get out of combat with it and head this direction. Also, I'm going to switch back over to evasive stance. Endurance is definitely already piled back up. There are some good pieces that you can get from the dervishes in this area. I am not going to make the attempt at the moment. I was just noticing that Nektalos is to the north rather. giant rattlesnake we've apparently lost aggro from. I didn't actually realize that you could lose aggro, that you could essentially outrun stuff and drop it. I also did not try to fix my slam/intimidation macro there, which is not much of a macro currently, it's just intimidation. Alright, so where is slam? Is it in the skills? What's it called? Who knows? Let's try skills. Okay, I don't see it there. So it's an ability. Where do you find these things? Slam, frenzy, kick, those kinds of things. Where do they show up? I haven't a clue. Let's try, surely not stats. It wasn't on skills. What didn't appear to be in the knowledge book. How about the L? I don't know exactly what L stands for. I do see intimidation on here though, which is promising. Let's look through this stuff real fast. What do we have? Various and sundry things. At the ranged attack. Sense setting. Okay, there's slam. So it's in the bash category. We don't have it on auto skill. How do we make a macro of it? That's the question at hand. Press and hold it, nothing. But press here and hold it, nothing. So, how does one do this? One wonders. Okay, what if I drag it over here? Can we macro it? Is the question. Right click and hold. Okay, so there is assign macro. But it's no good. What if we go to this macro that we already have over here? Can we drag slam into this? Don't seem to be able to. I did accidentally dump slam into the void. That's not helpful. Do ability. What other things might we have? What might we have? There we go. That's the words. All right, let's get out of this. How about let's just click accept and then try /help normal and see if there's something. There's use item. I wonder if there's like a do ability. I see that there's stop cast. And that could be a good one for this macro here. So what if we did /stop cast? I assume that's the same as cancel spellcast. So that could certainly come in handy there for an interrupt. Oh, that's interesting. There's /pick zone fewest players. It's interesting. I wonder what would happen if I did that. Let's click accept on this real quick. And then let's go /pick zone fewest players. What does it do? Okay, so it's putting us in East Common Lens 37, is that right? Or was that 3 algo somewhat? I don't know. Oh, interesting. Well, that seems to have gotten us right over the West Commonlands. Like the entrance there. How odd. Okay. I suppose I can auto run toward you falling. And then look some more into this. I don't think that slash marketplace will do anything, but let's try it. Don't see anything. All right. Nothing so far. Was thinking it must be something that's not doability, but it's still similar to doability, right? What's interesting is if we go down here, we've got doability, but there's no other do than that. There's slash auto skill. I wonder, what if we try adding that? So slash auto skill, slam. I don't think that'll work, but we'll try it. There's slash auto fire. Would that work? Who knows? Let's try it. Don't know what it means. Slash auto fire. And we'll try doing slam with that and see if either of those things go off. Definitely went much further than the falling there. All right, let's go down here. Nothing particularly exciting there, but we're almost to be fallen. Looks like it's down here. We have a whole crew running around in this area. We had old CD in front of us there. I assume it's, meant to be pronounced CD. It could be Sadie. Who knows? All right. Bunch of groups buffing up before they run in, probably. Don't know what I might have on or not on. Let's go see if we can find anything to attack anywhere. Now, right now, I'm hunched over, which is a bad spot to be, but immediately we can stand up, which is nice. Extra nice because we have so many things attacking. Unfortunately, none of those things worked for a slam slash intimidate macro. Failed so far to make slam go off. So, how about we don't do all that and we just click clear instead? And, I could have probably just come over here and cleared this whole bar like so. Would have done just as well. All right, click off of there, and then let's see, where did I find that? Was that in the L? Possibly. put on a slam, and we'll drag it back over here. Another thing I didn't do was I didn't switch to a more difficult zone or instance, and should have probably done that. Oh, you know what just happened? My auto skill's probably turned off. Maybe not, though. They still say auto activate. I was thinking maybe that auto skill messed it up. Doesn't look like it, though. Regardless, we can now click slam successfully. It's not looking great, though, because, I mean, obviously Frenzy and Kick ought to have gone off, and it didn't. Let's try just clicking the melee attack button. And then right-click it and have a look. Don't see anything. Maybe we're good, or maybe I just needed to click it even though it looks like it was already clicked. Highly possible. Another thing I ought to check is whether or not I have a few more AA points to assign. Because I need 3 more. I'm going to press V here. Yes, okay, so AA points 2, so we need 1 more, and then we can get another symphonic aura bar. Alright, we have some things here that popped up. We've got a buckler and a rusty short sword. So we're going to right click on loot, auto merge, and then loot on both of those. Bags are getting kind of foolish. It occurs to me, though, I should put the things I have the least of in the front. I think I had the things I assumed were weakest in the front, because that way we can, you know, when I wasn't out doing anything dungeon-like, I figured I could use the, you know, the weakest food and drink. Now that I'm in a dungeon of some kind, I may as well use stuff that's a little bit better. Hopefully, I don't really know because I'm uncertain what the food and drink does for you. If you look on the thing here, it just says fresh fish on this. I don't know if we can eat the fresh fish or not. Do we eat raw fish as an ogre? One would think that raw fish would be something that ogres would be interested in eating, but I'm really not sure of that. I know that the water flask we have is drinkable. Is it better or worse than the Thulian with the skin of milk? I have no idea. There it is, nonetheless. I must have turned auto attack on the slam as well. Let's turn off auto activate on it. And I'll just try to remember to use intimidate for now until I can figure out how to make a macro with the abilities. Okay, I need to go after this neophyte. Should have already done that. Didn't do. Cast life tap on me, and of course I didn't have my slam up at the time. Try again. There we go. Interrupted him that time. Tried to again, but failed. I wonder what my skill level is regarding interrupt. So life tap, I believe that it takes your life and gives them some life. And we don't need any of that happening at all. Another thing is, do I have any friends online right now? You guys on? Okay, now I see Bugajoy and Dorindu on the list. Are they online and how do we know? Let's see. Slash Clue Bugajoy, for instance. Okay, they are on right now. Slash Blue Corindy. So it looks like Bugajoy is currently in North Caledon and is up to level 10. Okay, Rindy is apparently not on, or I spelled her name wrong, one or the other. Alright. So, cool. What if I right click? Any options? No, nothing so exciting as that. Oh, but I can just click who. And that works too. Neat. So you don't have to type it out, you can click it from this window. Good to know. Hey Dan, how you doing today? My poor old ogre. She's out of her element in such a tiny place. Got a putrid skeleton now coming after us now. He's just a warrior, so we don't need to hold back the slam pretty easy. Dan says, good here, thanks. Just listening while I work. How's things going? Things are going just fine, I think, overall. Trying to learn some things. One thing I did learn about this game that I haven't shared with you guys yet is that in beta I had mentioned having a trade skill depot and not being sure why you couldn't use it in the area where the trade skill occurs, so at a trade skill station. Well, I have found out that you can, but what you have to do is you have to click on the personal depot. That's what it's called. There's a little button and it says personal depot. You have to check mark that box, and then you can use stuff that's in your depot while crafting. Tried to interrupt the life tap, but it looked like it didn't happen. Can't interrupt it this time, unfortunately. So yeah, that's kind of the situation for me. And apparently I'm just randomly clicking the slam button instead of waiting for casts to go off. As far as I can tell, that's my goal. There we go, that's more like it. Dan says I played around a bit over the weekend with racial unlocks. The racial unlocks, tell me about that. Obviously it's unlocking racials, but or unlocking races, probably. Where do you find those at? Okay, we got all kinds of stuff on us at the moment. Let's go for this neophyte first. Try to keep him interrupted so he's less survivable and doing a little less damage as well. Unfortunately, I think his life tap goes off a little more often than my slam does. Let's try to intimidate him. Yeah, and couldn't interrupt him that time. Switch over to balanced stance. Let's auto merge this rusty rapier and then loot it. Alright, we only have these guys. They're all putrid skeletons. I think they're probably, well, they're not all putrid, but they're all skeletons. I think they're all warriors. Let's check. They are, in fact, all warriors. So, we can use slam liberally here. Oh, let's see, Dan says half elf and wood elf are unlocked together. Nice. High elf just takes one more step. Dark elf is also super easy. I'm assuming that's going to be in Fate Book. Dan says half elf and wood elf just turned in muffins, and red wine in West Freeport. Dark elf, red wine in Nearyak Third Gate. For the final part for high elf, turn in bat wings in South Belwick. Well, I don't know where any of those things are yet. Freeport's got to be near where I'm at because I'm right by the common lands, and if it's anything like Everquest 2, then Freeport is going to be right beside one of the common lands. Maybe it makes sense for it to be off of East Common Lands. And let's see, in EverQuest 2, it would be to the east of East Common Lands. Dan says all can be vendor bought, cool. And Freeport is next to Common Lands and North Row. Cool. Alright, I don't know where North Row is, but I have seen it, and maybe I even ran through it to get here. I feel like I ran through it. Possibly. Belwick is off of Greater Paydot. Sure. Yeah, that's somewhere. That's going to be far away. No idea how to get to that. But you probably figure it out at some point. We've got like so in EverQuest 2, you have to take a boat ride to get over to the Greater Paydot. But on here, I need to cruise. Do they have boats here? We've got the auto merge, and then let's move the boots. And then I want to look at this because I feel like we are in fact pretty overrun with them. Okay, leather boots. Not much to do about the situation at the moment. It doesn't look like. I was hoping maybe I had some bags inside bags or something like that, but it's not looking promising. I do think I might have eaten a fish. So I think I had 3 and now I have 2. Not 100% sure of that, but I might have. Dan says, yep, a boat or translocated. I ported my Wiz to Greater. So as a translocator, so in EverQuest we've got spires and fruit rings. Is a translocator like the Wizard Spire? I ported my Wiz to Greater Paydot, then did a summon group to get my cleric / monk / rogue there. Nice, nice. So you can summon group from one location to another. Not just within a zone, huh? That's cool if so. You top left bag, make sure you have the food for eating and drinking at top of that bag. Yeah, that's what I attempted here. The fish and the water flask. Is that bad? I had assumed that the fish would be better food than these bread cakes, but what do I know? Nothing. That's what I know. Fish scales seem like they're probably not a great food. Now it occurs to me I don't exactly have to run back to town, even if I run out of room, because I can still throw things temporarily into my storage, into my dragon sword. Step Grandpa says, gotta cook them first. Well, see, I didn't know, because I thought, well, hey, I'm an ogre, you know, maybe I eat some raw fish, right? I could see an ogre sitting down by the river and chowing down. I don't know. So far, I'm just kind of going by trial and error. And I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I had already eaten one because I wasn't sure how many fresh fish I had to start with. Now I have 2. And how does one tell if one is eating or not, other than the fact that it can heal up properly or not? Let's see here. Dan says translocator is a gnome at each dock that ports you instead of taking the boat. Free before 10 and 1 plat for level after. So level 30 would be 30 plat. Whoa, that's crazy. Buggajoy just hit level 10. Congrats, Buggajoy. Step Grandpa says, yeah, it would be cool if they include stuff like that in the game. Makes sense. Right, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. At any given moment, I am confused. But I do want to go and check out the crafting, especially now that I found out that you can use the personal debug button and be able to use your trade skill to do it that way, which is awesome. Because I had thought you should be able to do that, but I hadn't figured out how, and now I know. So, okay, so for now, it's I'm gonna just have to store it for later in the Dragon Horde. I don't want to auto store it because I don't want it to always go there, but for the moment we can do that. Probably I ought to call back to town at some point soon. I need to check and see anyway if my calls work properly, if I have them set up properly. There's one called Origin and there's one called Gate, and I don't know if I have Gate on here, if that's a spell that I get later. I can't really recall. I had it on closed beta, and I haven't gotten it yet on here. Let's go for this other neophyte. Maybe I have some behind me, so backing up is an idea. I see he's through the door. That's no good. Alright. Let's make sure I'm in the basic stance, because that seems like it would be important. Alright, so far so good, still alive. That's what matters most, right? I attempted to interrupt that with a slam, but we didn't quite get there. Now he's gonna life tap me too. What a shame. So the disease cloud went off without a hitch as well. Which one thing I don't know is, does disease cloud, like, does it stay there? Is it a positional thing and I can just back up and get out of it? Not sure. Don't know if that worked either. Kudos. Okay, let's see. I think I'm safe to check out the chat real quick. Step Grandpa says, I believe there's a way to sell your loot in advance loot window. There is. Well, I don't know if there's a way to sell the loot after you've looted it. Maybe so. I know that you can auto sell it. You can set it to auto sell, or you can sell it whenever it pops up. Not sure, but I think it's been mentioned. Dan says Gate is a spell. Yes, right. I couldn't recall if it was a spell or combat art or what it was. So that's good information. Okay, Joa says we just got it from Druid. Dan says also /care will tell you where your origin and divine spot are. That's a good thing to know. Let's do it. Okay, so it did bind well whenever I clicked his soul, the soul shard guy or whatever he was called. Because it shows that the bind point is East Commonlands and the origin location is Ogre, so it's exactly what we wanted to be the case. Dan says there's another way too of putting around. If you unlocked Wood Elf racial, you can temporarily switch to Wood Elf, use Origin to get to Greater Fey Dark. Oh, that's super cool, and then switch back. Interesting. I didn't realize that you could just switch willy-nilly. Like, oh, I'm an elf now. No, I'm an ogre. You thought I was an elf. Oh, that's kind of awesome too, because that would make me smaller also, right? If I switched to elf, would that change the size of my character in places like this? But if I changed that, then I wouldn't be immune to stuns from the front. Dan says deleting items. Yeah, deleting items does sell it as well. All right, cloth wristband. Let's auto merge this. All right, where are we exactly? Who knows? Haven't been paying attention. Okay, I gotta try to stand up. Okay, nothing in there. I see this fellow is already fighting stuff in here, so let's go this way. Dan says as long as you're in a starting city or starting/city zone, you can change loadout. Right, I see. Oh, I haven't killed the Shadow Knight yet to get the key. Now, from what I learned in closed beta, you only need to get the key once per door. So if you have it more times than that, you can just sell it, delete it, whatever, auto sell after the first time, because you only need one of them for befallen. Some zones you don't even need one of them, and I'm just wandering around, going in all of the doors apparently at random, and revisiting the same places where people are fighting guys. You know what, let's just switch the difficulty real quick, and that will load us into a new instance and also make things a little more exciting. Can't use it while in combat. Oh, I'm in combat. How interesting. Who knew? I wonder where that guy is. Asaki Laray. I have no idea, but he was killed somehow. that was different. I think maybe that was the guy who was attacking someone else. Not sure. Feel like it though. I think he might have been over at the well. Now the well in question will drop you down a couple of floors, and when it does, in addition to taking a little bit of damage from the fall, you also are down among level 16 creatures, I believe, as I recall. So, fall at your own risk. Oh yes, right, I'm not in combat now, and I recall that I was going to switch my difficulty instead of wandering around at random. Okay, let's go to difficulty 2. Okay. Dan says also you can switch your second to third class for rogue, which gives you sneak. Then you can use sneak for vendors that won't talk / sell to you or turn in quests. Interesting. So if you sneak, you can still speak to NPCs while you're sneaking? Is that also true of hiding? Dan says, go to new sub for instance, I suppose. It's our starting place. It has all the spell class vendors. Add rogue as second or third class and switch to it, and then you can buy all your spells. Interesting. I believe this person was being attacked. I don't know what we're doing here. It looked like they were on me, but I think they're not. But I don't know if I can help whoever that is or not. What if I attack this plague rat? Will that help? I don't know. He seems to be sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Maybe they had been on someone else and were just running back to position. Also, I seem to be crawling. There we are. Fixed to that. Alright, we're struggling. Let's go back this way. Alright, we've got this guy over here. Skeleton rod. Let's attack him. And let's turn him this way. Dan says another trick for quest turn-ins. Open the trade window with the NPC, put your items in, and if you're a feigned death class, feign, and then turn in the item. So if you're feigned, they'll trade with you. They think they're trading with a dead guy, and that's okay because you're not a skeleton. Feigned death sets them to indifferent. Interesting. I would be somewhat concerned personally about trading with dead guys. Like, if I went up to a grave and somebody popped out, and even if he's fresh, even if he's not, maybe he's embalmed and he looks just perfectly fine. And even so, I'm going to tell you that if he just pops out of a grave and wants to do a little trade, I'm unlikely to accept that. I'm going to question it, and be like, man, I don't know, this feels a little weird, Dan says you can't open the trade window to turn in while feign death, but it stays open if you open and then feign death. feign death. Oh, that's totally different. Feign death. Then hit turn in once feign death. Interesting. It's a feature, not a bug, right? Not the most logical. Right. That's what I'm thinking. It seems a little odd. Step Grandpa 89 says, haha. Or hands you something and just dies. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be interested in that either. Like, if somebody just gives me something and they're not obviously bleeding, right? If they just walk up to me and they're like, hey, I want to trade with you. And maybe you're about to trade, right? You're like, okay, maybe. And then they fall over dead right there. I'm probably not going to take that. Most likely, I'm going to be like, man, I know these blankets, you know, they did this in the long ago times. It did not work out for the Native Americans. And I don't think it's going to work out for me either. So, yeah, no, I don't want their, I don't want any blankets they've got to offer, you know? Dan says, yeah, not a bug. Unintended for sure, though, but it's been that way since release for regular EQ. Right, I mean, if they brought it over from there, then I would assume that they probably are aware of it. I do know that that some things I think they wanted to keep for nostalgia, I believe. Could be wrong. Maybe I should switch out of evasive stance since I have been out of endurance for some time now. Paying a little bit of attention to the fight may also have helped. But alas, it wasn't in the cards, I suppose. If something else spawns on me, it's going to be a bad day, I fear. Dan says, yep, and they already nerfed multi-quest, and I'd assume if they were going to do it for FD or Sneak, it'd have been done already. One would think, slain I was, how sad. Alright, onward. Zoom out a bit. It's just I'm not a huge fan of the first-person view. I don't know about you guys, but it's not my cup of tea. Dan says, used to be able to have someone else with a no-drop item turn it in at the same time as you and get credit for it. Multi-quest. Now see, I haven't grouped yet in this game, so I don't know much about it. I didn't realize that one person turning in a quest item would update for everyone. Now that, if that carried over to this game, then that definitely gives reason for grouping that otherwise might not be there. There's already some advantages in that regard, such as, you know, if you're all getting something for each kill, and you're trading among yourselves, then, you know, you could each be giving each other things that are most helpful for those classes. So that's one good thing. Got a rusty mining pick +2. Heck yeah, why not? Let's we have it on auto merge already, so then we'll store it for now. One-time storage response. But yeah, so if you can also get multiple people credit for a quest by turning in one item that one of you has, that's pretty cool. I would assume you'd all have the same % chance of getting that item to drop, and with more of you, that increases your overall chances of getting that item by being in a group of 4 or however many you're working with. Yeah, cool. All right, I'll come attack this guy next, or he'll attack me. I'll come close to encourage him to attack me. So I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, I was able to get over to him. I wasn't sure if I would be able to, because my ogre is so large. So these guys are both warriors. I will keep the skeletal excavator targeted here, and see if we can intimidate him. Probably not. He's definitely beating me up pretty hardcore. I wonder if I have anything in the bags that would be helpful to put on here now. Couldn't hurt, right? And also, Do I have... I don't have evasive stance on me. That explains a lot. Alright. Maybe I'll survive a second longer here. Who knows? Okay, let's compare. That was terrible. Good. Let's auto merge. And auto merge. And then we'll store both of these items. Me versus the rat is not going especially well so far. Step Grandpa says I wouldn't waste time with quests or anything right now. Yeah, I haven't been because I'm thinking like this is the for one thing it's the beta anyway and it won't last for too terribly long. Better to try out all the class combos. Yeah, exactly. Instances. Yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts exactly. All resets at the end of the month, right? There's just not enough time to get through too much at this moment. And it just makes sense to do things a little, you know, yeah, just sort of trying things out. Alright, haven't been this way yet. I know I'm low on health and it's not a great idea, but I'm all about doing things that are not a great idea. It's how I keep things entertaining. As they say, if you're not dying, you're not trying. And that skeleton was not sufficient to the task, it seems. Because my health actually went up during that fight. I think it started at 20. Now, this, on the other hand, is unlikely to be a good thing. We've got, okay, warrior, 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 warrior. Let's try a little intimidation. Still at 28 health. The endurance is going down, but it's really not that bad. All things considered, I'm not doing too shabby in the fight against the four things. If I can get this large plague rat down, I think we might be alright. Actually, my health, I believe, has gone up a couple points. That being said, the endurance is what's currently being mostly used in lieu of health. And so even though the health is increasing, the endurance is going down, and that's, you know, almost an extra health pool in this stance. Dan says, yep, racial unlocks was so I know what to do when game goes live. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. The racial unlocks make sense. Can play a few tricks 1 to 10 to unlock some and get some unique race/class combos for primary. Step Grandpa says about to hit 25. Congrats on that. And reclass to check out Befallen. Haven't been yet. Oh, well, it's, I gotta tell you, you won't find too much to do at that level. At least whenever I was on the closed beta, I think I was pretty much down to the bottom, level 28, and it was pretty easy at that point. There wasn't much left that was colorful. Dan says, i.e. human monks can be agnostic or Quellius as deity. Freeport monks can only be Quellius and have to be Kinos monk to be agnostic. Interesting. Getting pretty low on endurance, not quite out yet. I don't think these guys are gonna get me unless they get some repops going. Now we're moving right along on AA gain, and very soon I think I'm gonna get another AA, and then I'm gonna be able to do that symphonic aura, and then I'm gonna have cords of distance going off on the regular, which will be very nice. Dan says Freeport is much better since close to Nugina. They're fallen in most of the zones you want to XP in, but deity agnostic makes faction stuff a lot easier. Step Grandpa says I just want the two-hander rocking the pally main. Alright, we pulled everything out of this room already. It kind of looks like we have. I was about this one over here. You know, it occurs to me I could use the map and see what's in places to an extent. I've not gotten very good at this so far. Looks like we just had some guys run over there. I bet that means that somebody is over here and they just went to attack somebody around the corner. Or they just came back from attacking somebody around. Let's work on this neophyte first and foremost. Did I go into it? Yeah, okay, alright. Didn't know for sure if I was in the evasive stance or not. I guess I was. But it clicked like it went through, so I'm not really sure. Gotta watch the life tap on these neophytes. At least the necro neophytes. Who knows about the others? It's not going especially well, I gotta tell ya. Got a pretty good pile on me, and I wasn't exactly in good condition for it. It's okay, though. Dying is not that important in this game. You got that necro down to 1 life, though. That's a shame. Alright. Back to the start. So right now is great because I don't have anything to recast, so there's basically no detriments for dying. I'm just going to this top part anyway. I don't have any buffs that I need to recast, and there's just not any real reason not to just do silly things and get killed. There's not a lot of reason anyway, but in this case, it's like there's just no reason at all. No incentive. Apparently it's raining right now. It was also raining yesterday evening, which was fine. It was awesome that it held off on the rain until after July 4th. So we all got to, we all got to do fireworks and all that. Perhaps I attacked slightly soon on this guy. Seems bad over here. Might make it, probably not. Make sure that's on auto merge, let's store it. Auto merge and store. Might make it through. Quite a few guys currently attacking them, so I'm not sure. Feels unlikely. The endurance is going down pretty hard. Down to 25. But if we can knock another of these yellow guys out first, I think that'll help. Down to 1. That's no good. Switch to balance, but still couldn't get that guy down. Alright. Okay, making sure that we're in evasive stance. Alright, go attack. Not that it matters too much because we don't have a lot of evasion built up. Oh, that was a lot of folks. I'm gonna die again, I'm pretty sure. Could run for the exit, but why do that? Zoning will be just as fast in here as out there. Actually, it's even better, because if I die and respawn in here, then I think my health will be a little bit higher than if I ran out and came back in. Interesting. Let's check. Yeah, health is up to 29 right now. If I run out and come back in, it'd still be in single digits, I'm sure. Wow. Yeah, that seems fine. I don't see anything like summoning sickness going on. I'm gonna check and see. So I think we just have the things on that are being symphonic red here. Um, yeah, those are all good things. No detriments of any kind. So why not? I say into the fray. I look forward to getting that shrink spell because man, this is large. And with the illusion, it seems to take away my ability to use slam. But with the shrink spell, it still lets me use slam. Step Grandpa says, did you say there was a way to do trade skills from your inventory? Yes. You still need a tailor kit or forge, etc. So yes, you still need to get to the crafting table, but you can use the trade skill depot anywhere is what I found. Yeah, you can't trade skill anywhere, but you can use the trade skill depot while at the forge. But you just have to click personal depot on those that it's checkmarked. Divinitoad, nice name. I will let him go on ahead. And then we'll go this way. Yeah, I don't know much in the way of the details of the crafting yet. I did a little bit of crafting on closed beta. I was doing primarily food, so cooking. And so I don't know much about it. And I know that I had attempted to use the Trade Skill Depot for that and was not able to figure that out at that time. But that's how you do it. You have to just check mark that personal depot button, and that does what you need it to. It's very nice. I'm having trouble with these stances, and I think maybe there's a visual way to see what's checked and what isn't, and not especially visual. So I thus far have not really been able to tell if I have something clicked or not. And I'm going to try right-clicking it, and let's see if we can change something about it. Is there a way, for instance, to change the type of icon we have here, or something like I don't know how to tell if something's on or off. Guess I could change the size. That do. Let's go up all the way. 175. Ooh, they're very large. Does that help? No. No, that doesn't help in the slightest. I still don't know what I have checked. So let's change the size back to reasonable. If I can figure out how to do that at this point. Button size. Let's go back to 100 because making it huge did not do the trick. And then let's change it back to the correct width. And then pull it back down here. Step Grandpa says, interesting. So yeah, just depot your items while fighting. Right, yes. Anything that's trade skillable, you can just throw it into your trade skill depot. Never have to have it in your bags and have a good day. Dan says, I use the display that shows the current stances in lower part. What does that mean? The display. Oh my goodness. Right. You can see the stance there, but you can't see the invocations there. You can only see the stance, right? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I have an idea. We can go to the equipment tab, which I had previously forgotten about. But now I remember there's a way to do this. We go to I think, and then storage, and then nope, maybe that was wrong. Probably wrong. There's a way that we go to an equipment. It is somewhere. Let's go here. There's inventory, and that's not the right place, I don't think. I mean, you would think it would be, but I didn't see it there. What I'm looking for, storage equipment. Wait, maybe it's, okay, let's go here and go to appearance. Well, that's not it at all. Let's not go to appearance. This is terrible. How do I get out of this? Done. We're gonna try done. And get rid of that. All right. Try again. Okay. Because what I want to do, so you just go to storage, and there it is, in the very tab that I was initially in. Yes, I'm doing wonderfully. In that case, let's go there, and let's just throw this sword into there here for now, because now we have a new bag that we can loot. I accidentally just clicked it, and that worked. So now we have this bag. Now, can I take this? I think I can't take it out of the inventory storage or the equipment storage, probably. Well, no, maybe I can. Can. Beautiful. All right, so then you can put it back into the bag. And now we have another bag to use. Very good. I like that. All right. Okay, excellent. Now, let's see here. Step Grandpa says in the modern UI, they're highlighted. See, that's what I'm looking at. Like, highlighted sounds like a good idea. And also says what your stances are under your own HP bars and such. So it does say it under one thing. Like, it shows it over here on the character stats window, the stance, but you don't also get the invocation, you just get the stance, which I had forgotten existed. Dan says right-click it on your modern UI must be necessary for the new names. Yes. Dan says, like in your health window, it does stances in the lower left and invocations in the lower right. What if I come here? Okay, so typically when you have a mod, at least in Everquest 2, if you have a mod that can do something, it's using things that can be done in-game to do that. So I wonder if that's the same here, in which case there should be a way to make that work here. No idea how. Resizable buffs on bottom, high visibility, buffs on top, high visibility, resizable. Let's just try, okay, let's start with resizable buffs on bottom. Well, that's definitely weird. So that's just showing health and power. If we do that. Now let's see. Fixed size buffs on top. Looks like that. Which is what I had before. Alright. Resizable buffs on bottom. Looks like that. Let's do resizable buffs on top. And now we've lost our other bars. Mana tick timer, that's super cool. There's an attack timer. Excellent. I do like an attack timer. Cool. Alright. Resize below buffs. Ooh, that's terrible. Buffs on bottom, high visibility. Now what makes that high visibility, I want? Buffs on top, high vis. I'm not sure. We could drag it this way. No, good. No way to drag it up and down that I can find, just left and right. So it's resizable a little bit. And then resizable, no buffs, high visibility. It's kind of strange. Why would there be no way to drag it up and down? But there we go. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. I like that really well, honestly. But I like buffs, so I would want like I'm not sure what it means by high visibility. Let's go with buffs on top. And then if I can find the sweet spot, there we go. All right. So we can see everything, except we still don't see the other stance going on here. Still, this will help me realize which one's me and which one's the enemy more effectively. And I can come a little bit closer to the hotbars, which should help me. Okay, Dan says, check display types, which I think is what I was just doing here, yeah. He says, yeah, some stuff seems limited to modern UI, though, like spell gems. Try the stance window, see if you can select display types there. Stance window. What on earth window is the stance window? But first, okay, so I do have a mana tick timer on here. Auto attack timer. What does it mean? Who knows? Is this alpha, orange? Okay, one of those. Alright. Stance window. You could do the hotbars over here. Nothing too exciting there. Could assign macros or labels or icons, change size. No grid there. We'll be in the options. Alright. Interface. Maybe. Combat text. Not really. Doesn't look helpful here. Go to self. Other. Not so much. Dan says, yeah, I think you need to switch to modern UI for the stance window. Load UI skin, let's just switch to modern. Interesting. Well, maybe so. I don't know that it's that important to me. I just was curious. It would be nice to be able to see what stance I was in, or what invocation I'm in, because apparently I can see what stance if I can use my brains. That is a hard sell right there, using brains. Not super likely to occur. Dan says interface in general tab. You can switch and switch back. Really? Okay, we'll mess things up. Well, I'll try that in a second. Interface general tab. Hold on. Options and interface. Let's auto merge that and mute. The load UI things right there. Default modern. Keep your layout is checked, I think, and that's load skin in the middle of battle. I didn't like that one bit. Frozen. There we go. All right. Okay. Pros and cons so far. Let's click this, go to display, and then let's try Resizable buffs on top. Large attack indicator. Oh, interesting. What if we just do without a large attack indicator? I don't know what it means by a large attack indicator anyway. Can we change the size of this? Yes, we can. Nope, that's that one. Definitely want to try to change the size of this guy right here. Nope, that's you. I want to change the size of this, and it looks like that's a no-go. Can't do it. Let's show me. All right. Move that a little closer in there. Dan says it'll recover in a moment. Yep. Step Grandpa says I don't know how anyone plays with classic UI. I've been playing my PQ 2 decades now. Can't do it. You can revert some stuff back to the old UI. Now check the stance window. Should have display type options now. Alright, hold on. We've got stuff here. Rusty mining pick. I think it's less visible. The rusty mining pick. Let's go ahead and loot it. My brain is somewhat broken because everything is different and I have to adjust. Check mark that off. I don't know how I feel about this. I gotta think about it. Whoa. That's a thing. Okay. All right. Verbabs says, hello, how do you like the open changes beta so far? Yeah, so far so good. Stance window should display type options now. Stance window is here. Okay, hold on. Let's fix this. Yes, very nice. It does show recover. And so if I can get used to looking at that, that would be good. What have they done to my spell bar? Things have changed, and changes haven't pleased me greatly. Let's see. Background, can we just click on texture? That's better. All right. Much, much better. Okay. Dan says, can change the inventory back to the other version. Easy. Let's try. Let's see. If we go to this, we right click, go to window. Yeah, I don't know. Don't see it. A little bit so far. There's also a looking for group button in the group window here that wasn't there before, as far as I can recall. So that's kind of cool that it was added. Verbab says, want help leveling? Thank you for the offer. I'm not interested yet, but sometime soon I'm going to start some people. If you need help with something, though, let me know, and I'll be glad to help. But yeah, just trying to get my sea legs here, you know? Dan says, right click on the main inventory window with gear bags, stats, etc. Okay, inventory is here. Right click. Oh, let's attack the putrid skeleton. Back up a bit. Okay, gear bags, stats, etc. Right click. We got window, background, alpha, range. Might need to right click at the top of the window. Let's try that. We got window and display types. Okay, so display types, we should be able to do legacy perhaps here. On this. No. That does a thing, however. I don't know how I feel about that thing. We go back to it. And display types. We can do default. Default layout. Whoa. Okay, that's different, right? Do I like it? I'm not sure. It's definitely different. Vergab says I'm good to go. I got a buddy helping me. Very nice. I live stream as well. Yes, I do. I remember you telling me that you would live stream on Kick. Is that right, Vergabs? Level 29. Nice. If you ever want help leveling or anything like that, and I'm free, shoot me a message. Absolutely. Same goes this way. If you guys need help with anything as far as leveling or anything that I can possibly help with, let me know for sure. Dan says legacy there is what you're used to. Yes. Not exactly. Was the axe was in the wrong place, but something like that. This might work for me though. I'm not really sure. I can definitely read the writing in these much better, because in the other one it was like very, very light, the words, and so I could not read them very well. I have trouble with things that don't have high contrast. So it looks okay, I think, at the moment. I think we're gonna accept that for now. That's cool. You see the keybinds now on these, like forage and mode, lockback, and traps and sneak. That's awesome. All right, cool. Very good information. I may play around with that at some point, but I'm thinking we'll leave it like that for now. Not sure yet how I feel about the skills there, and how they look. Uncertain. Dan says the display type menu for the spell bar is interesting too. When you get bored, check it out. Display type menu for the spell bar. Okay. I can add any names of the spells. I've got time right now. What are you talking about? I'm just getting beaten up by skeletons. Otherwise, everything's fine. Okay, let's see. Window, background, alpha, array. You got background texture, tint, normal, if faded, top, bottom, all that. Nothing new there. We got display types. Small spell gems for spell names, small spell gems for spell names and numbering. Let's try that. So it looks like, oh, that's large. That is something right there. Wow. Why are there so many? I don't have 14. 14 is a number I do not have. Very interesting. It's huge. But maybe we make it smaller. Maybe. If we can figure out how. Doesn't necessarily look like it. Dan says with AA you can get 14. Very nice. It works a bit better in a vertical alignment. Yes, I would imagine that's true, because this way across, it's not phenomenal. Rather on the large side. It's doable, right? Say I did it over here, and then, you know, if I move things around, there's a possibility that it could actually work okay. See if I move some of this up so that I could have a little room for this guy. In fact, move that over a bit. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It may take a minute for me to feel the love on this. Better? Worse? I'm not sure. Kind of like having the names. But I'm not sure yet. Babs says, I'll also keep an eye out for you being live. Thank you. When I finish up for the day, I'm going to boost a raid and send everyone watching with your kick page. Thank you very much. It's awesome. Usually I finish up around 11 p.m. or midnight. Cool. I am often on at ridiculous times as well, so I understand. All right. So we'll try it like this and see how I want to change it as time goes on. But I think for now, that's not too bad. Let's go forward like this for the moment. I think I'm fairly close to a level here. This is interesting because the bars now have numbers associated with them as well. Instead of just being colorful bars going across, we've got the percentages, right? So it looks like I'm a little okay. I see what's going on. The orange bar and the green bar are now much significantly smaller, shorter than the than health and power and endurance bars are. But they don't say what they are, and colors have changed slightly from what they were. The particularly the endurance bar has changed into this rather abysmal color. It's a little bit, it's very interesting, but not the color that I'm used to by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, interesting. Let's see how this goes. So I don't have all of those bars open yet. Dan, how's that gonna, what if I tried to put something in slot 14, for instance? I may give that a go in a second just to see what happens. If I try to put something into a slot that I don't have open yet, will it just send me a message and be like, oh, you don't have that many slots? Or will it cap out no matter where I add the thing on the bar? Like I could add it anywhere up until I hit the number of slots that I have, and then it'll be like, nah, you can't do that. You're out of slots. These are the questions of the moment. Jan says, I think it just won't let you use those yet. It hides them in the critical orientation. Right, I was thinking, you know, that it wouldn't show me slots that I don't have, right? But clearly it does. Now this is also interesting. What has occurred here? Well, I'm probably still in a fight because of having killed something that I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been. Alright, we got a rusted Warhammer. Let's really have it on auto merge. So I wonder, yes, I do in fact have all of the slots full in my inventory. So again, I could use the equipment tab, but I think I'll just store it for now. Probably I'll want to head back to town pretty soon and begin either selling things or putting it in the bank or something of that nature. Definitely need some more bags for sure. Dan says the bug where you auto attack stays on after mobs die, by the way, is when fighting a caster. Yeah, it is. It's a summoner thing, yeah. You kill the caster and the pet, it has dies, but auto attack stays on as if you still need to kill it. Yes, definitely, because what happens is that the pet, you know, you haven't killed it and it despawns. And as a result, the game doesn't realize that you're no longer in a fight with that thing because it's gone. So you still get that combat situation when you're stuck. Now, what I'm noticing is that in the extended window, we now have evidence of things casting, and that's awesome because it means that if, say, there was one neophyte among them, okay, what if there were only two neophytes and one of them was casting and the other one wasn't? Then you could switch to it like right now and click slam, which I didn't realize was off at the moment. However, accidentally clicked down on the extended window instead of clicking the guy I was trying to click on. So that's too bad. This is interesting though. Good information, all this. Dan says extended target window is amazing. One of the best things they added. No, it's definitely very good. It's much better than what we previously had. And in fact, at this point, I don't really necessarily need a single target window of it. We could just look at the extended one. Shows all the same information except what that creature is attacking, which will be important in a group setting, not as important in this setting, however. Very interesting. Dan says you can also set up specific stuff in ETW. Don't have to just use as default. ETW. What could that mean? Extended target window, right? That would make sense. I still find myself using the old hotkey mappings for extended target window. Need to set that up. Specific stuff in. Alright, let's see. Oh my. Okay. Cool. Alright. So we can see the target's target. Awesome. Alright, so we don't need this window at all. Also just got a level here, that's nice. So let's see if we can get rid of this window. Or make it tiny, or something. Okay, still not true because I need to see the buffs and debuffs that are on it. Unless we can do that as well. Alright, we could do... That's pretty cool if there's like group tanks target you can see on here. Instead of just clicking through the guy, you could see it on here. That's very cool. Auto add hater targets. I'll be a hater. Interesting. Group assist. Neat. It's individual targets. Every time you do it. Okay, cool. Alright. We turn those. Well, I thought we would turn these off for now. Maybe not. Maybe it's only turn on, no turn off. Interesting. Dan says, i.e. I set it up so control plus 1 through 10 targets, whatever's in the ETW slots. Interesting. Don't think I can see depth buffs and debuffs except the real target window. Yeah, okay, then we definitely keep that in that case. I can explain the listed items. Just remember something cool. Yeah, it's cool. That could definitely be something to look into for sure. Maybe we can figure out even more rules. Alright. Good for now, anyway. Attacked from behind. A wayward rat. And friends. Okay. So, I don't necessarily want to tell this right now, so how do I turn it off? That's the question. No idea. Well, I just added another one. Okay, so we can set it back to auto on the ones that I have. Okay, cool. But say, for instance, you're in a group and somebody's being attacked and you don't know what they're being attacked by, you could just click that and get the target's target and see who was attacking what gate. Very cool. Dan says, also my two tunes on Neriac are Dart. Let's do Flash Friend, Dart, and Cro-Magnon. Did I see you on the other day then? Maybe I did. Cro-Magnon sounds very familiar. I may have chuckled, possibly. It wouldn't let me use Cro-Magnon, man, so I made him Cro-Magnon grow up. Oh no. This playground is quite a thing, and look at him. What do we think of him? I think he could use a good makeover, you know? I feel like there's potential there. He's just gotta uncover it. The right kind of bathing and haircuts. Maybe some like some behavioral training could come into play. Dances might have Ogre, Shami, Necro, and Wizard Disco. Like almost certainly then I think I may have seen that one running around. Maybe in Ogre at the time or in probably more likely in the Bureau of Dutchia. Looks like it is almost time for me to take a break. I gotta get some kind of food situation underway, probably. It's almost 5. But I will finish attacking this guy at the very least. Made it to level 9, by the way, earlier. I'm sure you all noticed. You know what else I didn't do was come over here when I got to 30A and remember that it existed so that I can grab Symphonic Aura. So if I can do that now, get a class, Symphonic Aura. Let's see, let's train. Pass with 3 ability points, yes, we do. And then we have to train again to enable it. So yes, and then that will be casting the Chords with Distance on the regular now, which is cool. Make sure it worked. And Blessings of the Page. If your target scans an equivalent aura that causes their strikes against enemies to heal them for 1. What is that? And where will it come from? Who knows? Like the chant of battle, jumping just in war song, and of restoration. We don't have Words of Distance, however, so why not? Why not? Don't know the answer. Dan says I wasn't able to reserve Cro-Magnon though for that account, so I think I'm going to change it for launch. Maybe Dart board. Nice. On the alt board Dart. Nice. Nice. Let's run back up here and see if we see anything. Nah, they're all being caught. So, methinks we will try clicking probably Origin, because I need to go back to, well, that's interesting. They changed the layout of the spell book as well, it seems. It's very, very interesting. So I now have some buffs, it looks like, which is also cool. Didn't notice that happen. So I'll need to make, no, that's one that is, that you can do with, Symphonic Aura, actually. Rubrious Lament is one of those little things. What else have we here? Sila's Accelerando, which makes you go faster. Words of Distance, we know what that is. Chant of Battle, okay, yeah, we know what that is. Okay, so, but basically we've got Elemental Rhythms, which offers your group protection from fire, ice, and magic. Very nice. What it means, unfortunately, is that I'm going to end up using that instead of Chords of Distance, probably, for fighting, I suspect, very strongly. Seems like a good idea. How's about we do it real quick? Okay, so let's try first putting it on in slot 9, since I know I don't have that open. Doesn't look like it's letting me. I'm not getting a message, and it's just not happening. Let's try 5. That's working. So yeah, it just doesn't let you use those slots at all. Interesting. And there's not even a notation about like you can't use that slot. You just can't. That's all there is to it. So, interesting. Definitely going to need to open up more of those as time goes on. Otherwise, let's see, you said there was a spell called Gate, which won't show up here. It will show up here in the spells window. That makes sense. So, just discovered this has tabs up here. Should have noticed. Didn't notice. All right. So then in that case, the ability would be here, right? What was I trying to do earlier is the other question. Intimidation was 1. And the other thing was slam. So now why can we not just do ability slam? Did not seem to work. Let's try it again. Make macro. Page 2. And we'll try the same thing again. Maybe I just did something wrong. Slash stop cast or stop cast, I think. And then slash durability slam. And then slash durability intimidate. Except that I didn't put a name on it. Let's try to fix that situation. Macros, there we are. Nope, not there. We want macros. Age 2. And then it was something that doesn't have a name. What could it be? There's a match found. This is true. Oh, interesting. All kinds of interesting things here. All right. Okay, let's go back here. And maybe it didn't save it because oh, okay, it's right here. All right, so we're going to say slam, intimidate. No, intimidate's what I'm going to say apparently. Great. Dan says, congrats on the dean. Thank you. Those AAs to add spell gems are some of the best AAs anyway. Just maxing this bit might too. Work almost over. Thanks for the stream. Enjoy your dinner when you get to it. Thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you later on. Okay, let's got that. Who knows if that'll work or not? If I click it. No skill name match found. Well, isn't that interesting? First of all, is stop cast what I wanted. Let's do slash stop normal. We're to go down to the stop. We've got stop. Yeah, stop cast. That one's right. Okay, durability. Did I spell that all right? It looks like I didn't accidentally add any extra letters. Slam. Now, why, you wonder, does it not count? Durability intimidate. Okay, let's get a little closer here. What do we play? That's fine. All right, let's try him. When I do that, no skill name match found, implying that slam is not correct. Oh, it did work that time. Maybe. Something did, but I'm still getting no skill name match found. Did I misspell intimidate? I won't be intimidate. I did spell intimidate correctly. So, why is there no... Okay. what if I need to pause in between them or something like that? It doesn't make any sense. All right, let's go here. Well, not here. Here. Spells. Maybe. Disciplines, no. Abilities. But this is definitely called Slam. The other one is Intimidate. Intimidation. Alright. Intimidation. Accept that. Now we'll try again. Alright. It's more life. It doesn't have a reuse timer on it, which is fine. I can look at the reuse on the actual skill, go down, and then I can select it on that one and have both of them go off at the same time. Get the Intimidate out. That's the whole point, and then we can clear that. Alright, wonderful. Alright. Now, I didn't have my melee and stuff turned on, so let's go ahead and do that. And I don't know where that cracked skeleton is. There he is. Alright. Let's go ahead and knock these guys out, and then I'll try doing the origin thing to get back over to Ogre. Unfortunately, I don't have that gate spell, so I don't know of any way to get back to East Commonland's tunnel except by dying. Which I think I can do that. Probably manage to die, who knows? I'll go on a great alligator hunt again, perhaps. At any rate, I think that's good enough. Let's go to Origin. Let's see if we can find ours. What is our origin? I'm searching for my long lost great-great-great-great-grandfather. I must know my origin. It is, as it turns out, in Ogre, the town of ogres and dead dwarves hanging over campfires. Alright, very nice. I think I'm going to call it for now and try to get some food and things of that nature. Hopefully I'll be back soon, and I'm going to, if I can keep it in my mind long enough, then I'm going to try to do some crafting and see how that looks. No idea. I'm not very good at that yet, but I think I can figure it out if I put make a concerted effort at least. All right, but yes, I think that I'm going to take off. It's been a pleasure streaming with you all. If you're not following me yet, be sure to follow me so that you can turn on notifications and see the next time that I go live. Hopefully, I will see all of you then. So